Go
All
for
right,
it.
I'm going to start and then we're going to click. Hello and welcome to Off Chain. My name is Jimmy Song and today is December 11th, 2017. We have a new host for us today. Valentin Schmid is the business editor for the Epoch Times. Valentin, welcome to the show and welcome to hosting.
Hey, thanks, Jimmy. So Jimmy asked me to introduce the topics so Tone and him could focus a bit on content. So I'm gonna do that, and we kick right off with your favorite topic, Jimmy, the mempool. We saw a big spike starting Friday, Thursday, and it has come down a bit again.
Yeah,
What do you think about it?
it's hard to tell if all of it is spam, but at least some of it seems to be spam. There's a little spike right around here that's very clearly all one Satoshi per byte transactions that went into the mempool, and they're just sort of sitting there. A lot of it came down. These were the highest ones. This big gray area, they're all around the 100 Satoshi per byte. They seem to sort of either have disappeared or have been mined out. I'm not sure exactly which is the case. But yeah, it's clearly something was going on over the weekend. It could be a lot of demand with some spam, some combination thereof. But yeah, it's definitely come down a lot. So hopefully it continues to go down so we can make more transactions.
Do you have any idea, Tone? Because last time we saw that spike, we saw a massive attack in the pump of BCH, but we didn't really see that.
Yeah, no, I don't really. They keep trying. They just keep trying. I just went over to grab my phone. I want to see if my transactions from December 7th, when I sent like a 50-cent fee to a couple of people to see if I stiffed them or not, and if they bounce back. So those transactions are still in the mempool. So I'm waiting on those. So we'll see. Yeah, it'll work itself out eventually. My bigger issue with this is more companies need to utilize SegWit. So I think I made a mistake on the show where I accused Shapeshift of not using SegWit. So that's not true. Actually, Shapeshift does use SegWit, but companies like Purse, Coinbase, and several wallets that I used to promote, like Mycelium and Airbits. I mean, everyone just needs to start using SegWit. I mean, what else can I say? And it would make it so much harder to spam the network.
Yeah, Jimmy, do you have an update on SegWit adoption?
I mean, the fact that block sizes are not at 2 megabytes tells me all I need to know. If you have all SegWit transactions, that's around where it would stabilize. The fact that it's around 1.1, 1.2 tells me that still most of it is actually non-SegWit transactions.
So basically, until everybody has SegWit and the mempool gets full again, we don't really have to worry about it.
Well, I mean, minus the spam. There may also be spam still.
Okay, good. Next story, a little bit more interesting and juicy than the mempool, is that the Bulgarian government, they got a windfall recently. They confiscated some Bitcoin in May when the price was, what, 1,500? And now that stash is worth 3 billion, which is a quarter of their deficit. So what does that tell us? That the government should start confiscating more Bitcoin to bail out their finances?
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of an incredible story. The number of Bitcoins is 213,519, which is kind of crazy that organized crime had that much in Bitcoin, but that kind of makes sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if their central bank or whatever equivalent that they have in Bulgaria takes it and Bulgaria becomes like the next center for Bitcoin of some kind. Who knows though?
You mean they're gonna launch the Bitcoin standard?
Maybe. I would love to see that.
What do you think, Tom?
Wait, so how much Bitcoin did they confiscate?
213,519.
Wow, and when did they confiscate that?
I believe, yeah.
In May.
Yeah.
May 2017.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Who the hell did they confiscate that from? Jesus, that's like billions.
It's $3 billion right now. Yeah.
Wow. See, I was thinking about like the Silk Road where the government confiscated like 400,000 Bitcoin or something, which would be like 6 billion now. But they sold it all. They didn't hold on to it, which is good. I was very happy when they were selling the Silk Road coins and not holding on to them, making the government rich. But wow, like the more interesting thing here is how much like this one Bulgarian organized crime, company, I guess, had in Bitcoin. I think that's like the real story here. And people don't understand that. Some people still think that Bitcoin is for cups of coffee.
Well, we're going to have that soon with the Lightning Network, but until then, the Bulgarian government will have to deal with it.
And honestly, this is the, I mean, these are the blinders. I mean, this is the crazy that people like Jeff Garzik don't understand. They don't seem to understand that there are organized crime ventures that have billions of dollars in Bitcoin. And he's like, no replay protection. They'll figure it out. It's okay if they send it all to the wrong address. Nothing's going to happen.
Oh yeah, Tone has made that point frequently, that the people who want to disrupt the original chain, they are messing with some dangerous people, right, Tone?
Yeah,
that would be crazy. But it's 3.6 billion right now. I think it's even higher since this story broke. I think it's close to 4 billion.
So the good news, if this is a quarter of Bulgaria's deficit, all they have to wait is another half a year or so, and they have zero debt.
If they sell it, wouldn't you want to make it part of your reserve?
That would be huge.
That would be awesome if they actually like just hold on to it, and then they would go into a surplus based on the value of the Bitcoin they have in cold storage. That would be awesome. Like Bulgaria is going to become like the financial capital of the world in like 3 years. That would be great.
Yeah, Bulgaria is going to be the most financially sold country on the whole planet thanks to Bitcoin.
Oh man! That's amazing. And if they issue their own coin,
you heard it here first. You heard it here first. This is going to happen. Okay, fantastic. Next to some more lighthearted and funny news, and we'll get to the Bitcoin futures, guys. Don't worry, we'll have that bigger segment in store. But Saturday Night Live, they did their cold opening and they mentioned Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is becoming more mainstream. Another little.
All right, here's the clip. I don't think you guys will be able to hear it, but my audience and Tone's audience and I can hear it.
But just in case, I'm putting all my money in Bitcoin.
Oh, man. She just said, just in case, I'm putting all my money in Bitcoin. That's what she said.
Smart girl.
Yeah, this feels like it's definitely crossing over into pop culture. Howard Stern's talking about it. SNL is talking about it. A lot of other people are talking about it. It seems like, I don't know, maybe that moment's coming where everyone will kind of know what it is and they'll start getting educated and people will start buying and holding.
Now here I have a question for Tone, because you pointed out many times that actually not that many people are using Bitcoin. On the other hand, we now clearly have this, intermediate frenzy and hype and media coverage. So how do you place the two, where in theory there's still, limitless upside, adoption, price, but in practice we have this sort of crazy hype phase at this moment?
Yeah, no, well, see, here's the thing, right? Like all three of them are talking about it. I guarantee none of the three know what they're talking about, right? So this is what you have to kind of figure out. Like when these three were talking about the internet, have any of them actually used email, right? So we have to wait for the point where you actually see people using it in their cell phones, in their hands, in order to really get that cross-culture moving along, right? So some reality shows maybe where you actually see them using it.
And actually, that's a good, maybe another side point on adoption. Like, what's a good measure to count adoption? Because the Coinbase accounts is certainly not it, because that is just basically speculation within a closed system. So how would you measure actual adoption of Bitcoin?
That's hard.
That's a good question. I don't know. It's like no one really sees the S curve until it comes. I don't know. For me, when okay, let's put it this way. For me, I I would consider Bitcoin in the adoption stage when people that are not like old school Bitcoiners want to pay me in Bitcoin, right? So it's like right now I still have people that are, trying to scramble right now, trying to get their hands on Bitcoin. But I am now on the flip side, right? I am now in a position where I ask people to accept money in Bitcoin again. So there was a time like in 2013 and 2014 when we were all trying to like use our Bitcoin to help spread adoption, and then we realized how stupid that was because everyone we paid Bitcoin to ended up losing it. But now I'm in a position where most of the income that comes in is in Bitcoin and not fiat. So now I am forced to spend the Bitcoin. Like I don't have a choice, right? Like I would prefer to spend the Bitcoin because that's otherwise I'm going to run out of my little fiat in the bank account. But I want to be at a point where people are asking me to pay me in Bitcoin and they're not in the same position, right? Like as I am right now. So that's kind of when adoption happens, when people want to spend.
I don't know about the spending part. I actually think it's when more people are talking about, like how they're putting their wealth in Bitcoin and more of that nature. But I guess we'll see. Like certainly getting this in pop culture is important. That reality show you mentioned, Tone, I actually saw a TV show in Korea where they gave some people Bitcoins and sent them to San Francisco and made them live off the Bitcoin. That was kind of interesting.
Oh, that's
so
good.
We'll see if that sort of thing happens in the U.S. at some point.
Yeah, that's good. And what I meant by spending was like when people see Bitcoin as a little more convenient to use than credit cards, because I'm starting to feel that way. Like I have no time to keep track of my credit cards if someone has like got the number and like used it. But when people start to feel that Bitcoin is safer and faster, so maybe another 6 months for the Mempool to clear up and Lightning transactions to start going. Hope soon people will realize that Bitcoin is a much better way to transact online over credit cards. In person, we'll see.
So Tone almost sounded like a big blocker here until he mentioned the Lightning Network, but that's a huge development. And we had the first successful test last year. And ultimately, I know, Jimmy, you're in favor of the store of value argument. So how would you measure adoption just purely for use of store of value?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I think price is really the only way to measure that, because that means there are more holders. But as far as like, that's deepness, not wideness. I'm not sure how you measure wideness necessarily. I guess you can try to look at number of addresses increasing or something like that.
Okay, we'll keep talking about that definitely. And now we have another one, interesting tweet here by, it's what's her name, Crypto Venus, and she had it translated from Jihan from Chinese. Somebody must have hacked his Weibo account, because he posted on the Chinese Reddit that he wants to support Blockstream and Bitcoin Core, and everybody was like, "Whoa, this is something we wouldn't have expected from him, right?"
Yeah, I was shocked to see the translation. We should support Core and Blockstream. Like, something about investment. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe he's privy to something that we're not. But I was kind of shocked to see that, and maybe some of that tension is starting to thaw now that Bitcoin Cash is a separate coin.
And Tone, you said that there was supposed to be some big Blockstream news coming today.
I don't know. This could be the news, right? Like we'll see what happens. This could be the big news for today. Yeah, no, this is strange. I was just about to go to Twitter and try and retweet this, because I think this is big. I mean, a lot of us have been giving Jihan Wu a hard time, but look, he is important. Like he is important with what he's done with the mining, and it's unfortunate that he was going for the big blocks. I think now that he's realizing that fees didn't really go down with him being on the other side, maybe that's it. But I'm actually literally going right now to my Twitter and retweeting it.
So that's an interesting development. We're going to follow that as well. Now, the big story, Bitcoin futures, they launched yesterday on the Chicago Board of Exchange, the CBOE, not the CME. And they sort of stole their thunder by launching a week earlier after they had less media coverage before. And overall, despite 2 trading halts, it was a success and the price keeps going up. So what do you think, Jim?
I was shocked at how much it went up, like in that one candle right when they opened. It was literally like 1 minute, it was like 14,000, and then the next minute it was like 15,000. And this was on Bitstamp. Obviously, pretty bullish news. I think a lot of people want long exposure rather than short exposure. And that seems to be the sentiment in the market. I'll let Tone talk more about that. What I found really interesting about that was that their website went down because so many people wanted to see what was going to happen. Not that many futures contracts apparently were traded, but everyone wanted to see what was going to happen on the website, and that was enough to crash the website, which I did not expect.
So, Tom, can you correct Jimmy on the notion that there can be a buyer without being a seller?
There really can't be a buyer without being a seller, right? That's the beauty about the futures contracts. They have to be there have to be people on both sides, and I've seen these things where people are talking about it like, when it comes to expiration, all of these people are going to like sell the contracts. Well, yeah, but then someone else has to be buying them on the other side. And if the price of the future starts to skew too far from the underlying, it just makes no sense. It's an obvious it's a no-brainer for people that have access to both futures and the underlying. You sell the future, you buy the underlying, and you will immediately profit from that spread, because sooner or later they will. You know when the expiration is, and you know they're going to be trading in sync on the day of expiration. So, so this goes to show me that it made no sense. I don't understand why the CBOE jumped on the futures like a week earlier than the CME. I've said it from day one. CBOE is not a futures expert like CME is, and it made no sense. And they're probably going to screw up, and they're probably going to learn. Like, so welcome to Bitcoin, CBOE. Like, you jumped the gun on CME, who would have had a way more stable market a week from now. You could have piggybacked off that and not look like idiots.
So that's an important point that Tone makes in the future. It's not called contract without a reason, because there needs to be 2 parties to the contract. One buyer, one seller, and that would explain where there was low volume because nobody wanted to sell, and the price went up, so the buyers had to offer a higher price for somebody to come in and say, okay, I'm going to short this.
I also hear that, I mean, not everybody can trade them. Like, I haven't had time, but this week I'm going to go and take a look if I have access to trade the CBOE futures. Like I said, I didn't even know they had them. I was going to check next week if I am eligible to trade the CME futures. And from what I'm hearing, I literally would have to call my broker and get like special permission. So it's not as easy as anyone with a trading account.
So Jimmy, do you have any further thoughts on that? Because we analyzed the dynamics, Tone, and you already did a lot of videos that the viewers can check out for some more background. I guess this is the main news for the start of the trading. Prices up, low volume, website crashed a few times.
I mean, I'll be watching more closely today, but nothing really more than that. I'm just curious how it affects price, which we'll get to after the next story.
And we'll see whether they really are going to start a short attack and how successful that will be. So another very interesting and important story, and we hear that all along, is this time Bittrex had issues with withdrawals where traders couldn't get their money out. And Jimmy, you said this was probably because of regulation.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, is that there's they're implementing more heavy AML KYC stuff onto their platform because regulators are starting to crack down on them. But yeah, Bittrex, a lot of people are complaining. It's been going on for a while. There's several threads on Reddit of customers complaining, I can't get my money out of Bittrex. I mean, they're obviously doing a lot of business, and a lot of people want to dump their Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Gold or, whatever other coins. It seems like a lot of money is going from altcoins to Bitcoin or back or whatever. And these are the exchanges where this happens. So it doesn't surprise me, but I would like to see more stuff from them going forward. But then again, they're a centralized exchange, right? I want to see more decentralized things, especially with this stuff, because they take custody of your coins. So, this is why, I've always said, control your own keys. Stop, putting them on there. If like, keep it on your own stuff, unless you absolutely need to trade like right now.
So that's an interesting point that you mentioned the regulations, because since Mt. Gox, when exchanges have withdrawal problems, everybody thinks they were hacked and they lost all their coins. Everybody's paranoid, but do you think now that this might be a new sort of element? But as you say, people still need to be careful. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, no, I agree. And this just reminded me, I'm trying to look for, I don't remember if it came in a tag tweet or I got a PM about it, but people were saying they were having trouble withdrawing from Bitfinex. And the solution that they came up with was you convert everything to Litecoin and withdraw Litecoin. And they were trying to tie that into the Litecoin pump over the last 48 hours or whatever it was. Yeah, so why can't you just convert all of your stuff into like Litecoin or Bitcoin and move it out? So they're not even letting you withdraw it.
Well, yeah, it's an AML KYC thing. So they don't let you withdraw anything unless you like, submit your ID or I don't know.
That's bad. I mean, some of these guys are like 14 years old.
Yep. That's kind of what you have to do. So I don't know if your fake ID is gonna work on these guys, but maybe that's what you have to do as a 14-year-old.
If not, you can always register with an exchange in Bulgaria and see what happens then.
Yeah, no, this is an issue, right? I mean, Poloniex is going to have the same problem.
And they have stricter AML KYC things, I think, on Poloniex, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, well, last I saw on Poloniex, you can withdraw up to 2,000 a day anonymously.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so those were the news. I guess now is the time where Tone talks a bit about the price and the random number generator.
All right, let me pull up my charts here. Let's see where we at. I was on my Twitter. There it is. All right, this is the page. All right. All right, I am going to talk about the price. Just a heads up for those of you that are learning how to trade. Please check out my website, Learn Trading section. Very, very informative. And section 6 is where you would learn about what we now refer to as the random number generator. That's explained in section 6. Very, very useful. Let's take a look at the price. Wow, like this trend line, man. This trend line from 2011. I can't believe this thing is actually going to get hit. Well, let me not jump the gun there because this trend line is way up ahead. I mean, we are talking like over $20,000 on a real exchange, not something like Coinbase, which can't seem to get anything right these days. And so let's see. So this is the weekly chart. The weekly chart isn't telling you much, but if the moment this week starts trading higher than the previous week, even by like $5, it becomes another buy the breakout situation. Though as always, things aren't black and white. The buy the breakout situation will probably happen as the CME futures launch, and kind of all bets are kind of off because that could also be a sell the news situation. We'll see. My view on it is this. To me, we just had a double top this morning, okay? And those of you that follow me enough times, you know that you do not get multiple chances to get out at the high. So once I saw us crossing $16,500 earlier today, and I'll go to the 4-hour chart in a minute, that's it. I am looking for a breakout, right? So the next time we come up here, probably the 4-hour chart would look better, but I'm getting ready to draw another one of these arrows, right? At least 20K is what I'm looking at with some initial hype off of these futures. Now, I talked about this on my show yesterday, Trading Bitcoin on my channel, where you had this descending triangle with a $2,000 to $2,300 down target that almost reached. I mean, you were like 80% into the target. And now we've turned around, and we were just here when I was doing the show last time, and I said, hey, the moment you have a green number above a prior green number, it becomes a new long play. So your bullish trade off of the bigger triangle should have activated right here the moment this candle of the 11 a.m. candle New York time, the 4-hour candle, right on the arrow, started trading above the prior candle. Yeah, you pulled back a little bit, but you continued to go higher. So according to this, 2 more candles, and we could have a short-term pullback. I think the momentum this morning is pretty good. Maybe a little bit higher than a bit of...
Oh no.
Wow.
No, okay, you're fine now.
All right. I think my connection is not that
might
bad.
Be mine. Hard to say.
All right, so maybe something like this, I would look for that 9 on the 4-hour chart, maybe a bit of a pullback, 1 to 4 candles, and then, a push over 2 new highs, maybe give us a blow off top around 20, 21K.
Wow.
We'll see how that goes. Glancing at the 1-hour chart, oh wow, it's like stuck right at resistance here. Interesting. So let's see if we can break that. But that's what I mean, right? You hit one of these 9s, you have a 1 to 4 candle pullback, then you ramp higher for 1 more 9. You're in the middle of a little pullback here. So I think we should start going up from here, maybe get above this resistance 1 more time. But it's pretty neat looking, actually. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, you got some resistance right here. That's automatically drawn in from the indicator. And let's see if we can get above it. Yeah, Litecoin is still breaking out, but yeah, I had to take a look at that yesterday because apparently people are using it to get out of some of the exchanges. All right, that's pretty much it for the price, guys.
So overall bullish, smooth sailing for this week.
Definitely looks that way.
Am I still screen sharing?
You are still screen sharing.
I am. I don't know how to stop it.
Let me get you.
Oh, no, I found it. I found it.
All right,
okay, cool. Got it.
Right, let me move myself. Oh, whoops! I moved you guys by accident. There we go. All right, so I'm supposed to be here. Oh, so complicated. Why is it so complicated? All right, there we go. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's good stuff. Valentine.
Yeah, I guess we covered everything, and looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Well, this song is done. Tone, you want to say something to your audience?
I'm good, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We will we'll continue to bring you good content, and let's see if there's any more news breaks later today. I'm going to be around catching up on work.
All right.
And back on an airplane tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll do anyway, my flight's in the morning, so we got to figure out what we're doing tomorrow with it.
All right.
I might do it from the airport. We'll see.